Hi everyone, welcome back to my layout. Sorry it's been a long time since I've produced any videos. This is about the first time in 2 months I've had my layout operational. The room that I had my layout set up in had a little bit of a water leakage issue, so I had to move the layout out for about 2 months while we got the carpet dried out and cleaned up. Everything's put back in place and reinstalled, and I'm going to give you a brief layout update, a couple of the projects I'm working on, and some of my upcoming videos. In the foreground I have my Broadway Limited SW7 Illinois Central Road number 1212, and in the background there's a fleet of 3 60-foot flat bulkhead black cars. These are brand new. Atlas just released them. It's their train line model Illinois Central. We'll do a brief review of those here in just a second. What's interesting about my Broadway Limited, while I was without my layout, I ended up sending this particular locomotive to J.T. Burke out of Scale Sound Systems in Ohio, and he installed a brand new LokSound 5 decoder along with a Scale Sound speaker in this locomotive and to keep a live current. One of the biggest issues I've had with this locomotive, two things. Number one, I was never able to get the Paragon 2 decoder, the factory Paragon 2 decoder, to work with my proto throttle. And number two, this locomotive, it's a switcher. It doesn't have a high rate of speed. I had a lot of problems with it, shorting out, over turnouts, just anything where the track was just even remotely dirty. I had issues with it. So the keep alive has been pretty remarkable. So I'm going to show a little bit of a sequence here with my SW7 with those flats. We'll do just a little bit of switching here, and that'll be today's video. So I did promise a brief video or layout update. One of the new things I have that I did install, this nice little pocket sleeve for my proto throttle. You can see it's just a nice sturdy place to be able to store your proto throttle. The other thing that I was able to do was, over time, where the seam was, and you can kind of barely see it right here, don't mind my command station, there's the seam where the two halves of my layout come together. You can really see the seam on the backdrop there. Over time, this half actually started to sag because there were some loose screws underneath there I didn't get tight when I reinstalled it, or when I first installed it, and the layout was starting to actually sag. I was getting some gaps in the track, so I was able to rectify that. So it was actually kind of a good thing to be able to move the layout out. Other than that, I've got a couple kits that I'm working on. Just sort of show you here. I did get the Walther's sanding house with the sanding tower, so I'm working on that. So here's the structure for the drying house. Hope to be finishing that up here in the next couple weeks, I hope, depending upon what's going on with my schedule. So that's it. I'm going to run this SW7 for a few minutes. Hope you enjoy. before I wrap this video up, there's a couple things I just wanted to go over real quick. First and foremost, I really love this Broadway Limited locomotive. The detail on it is phenomenal. I love the orange and white Illinois Central switcher. For modern manufacturers, they don't really produce SW7s in the Illinois Central orange and white. Broadway Limited does a great job. I just am not a big fan of their decoder. I was not a big fan of it when I first got it. Prototypically, this has EMD's 567. Usually it's the A version of their 567 prime mover, 12-cylinder. If you search for scale sounds videos on YouTube, JT actually did a comparison of his speaker versus the factory default speaker from Broadway Limited with the Paragon 2 decoder. It doesn't even sound like a 567 engine. After I got this back, I actually uploaded a brand new sound file that was specific from ESU for a SW7 switcher. So this is prototypical sounds. It really sounds like a 567 prime mover 12-cylinder. Really, when you compare it to the 567 16 cylinders in the GP10s, they sound just phenomenal. So I want to thank JT. I know this sounds like an advertisement for him, but I would highly recommend him if you're a do-it-yourselfer. I got a couple extra speakers that I'm going to install in some of my GP10s. He will ship you speakers, or you can ship him your locomotive and he'll upgrade it for you. LEDs, new speakers, new decoders if you so wish. So it was well worth the money that I paid to upgrade this locomotive to a LokSound 5 decoder. And the last thing I do before I wrap this video up, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a closer look. This is an Atlas Trainman, 60-foot flat with bulkheads on either end, IC markings. It's a nice model. The Trainman line from Atlas is really equivalent to the Athearn Ready to Roll. It's a very nice model. It just does not have all of the details of, you know, like a Genesis model or the high-end Atlas or a Walther's Proto model. The stairs and the grabs are not separately applied. The couplers are not magnetic couplers. The trucks are pretty nice. The underbody just does not have a lot of the details that you would find with, you know, a high-end model. So I got these from my local hobby shop. I paid $23 for them. The MSRP, I believe, is somewhere in the ballpark of about $29. So as I always say, shop around. A couple things I have coming up for this channel. What should be coming out next week, and I hope to be producing a video hopefully by the weekend after July 4th. Athearn Genesis just released a whole batch of GP50s, and there is a Illinois Central, used to be a Chicago Northwestern GP50 that was rebuilt into a GP40-3. I have one coming. It's supposed to be at my hobby shop on Monday, so I'll be picking that up, running through a test on that. Hopefully I'll get that video produced sometime before the weekend. So glad to be back, guys. I know it's been a long time. So if you have any questions or comment, please let me know. Thank you.